to all devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatajayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, Birth of Emperor Parikshit, Shloka number 4 and 5. Sutah Uvacha.
Sutah Uvacha.
Apipalah Dharmarajah.
Apipalah Dharmarajah.
Pitruvat Ranjayan Prajaha.
Pitruvad Ranjayan Prajaha.
Nispruha Sarva Kamebhyah.
Nispruha Sarva Kamebhyah.
Krishna Pada Anusevaya.
Krishna Pad Anusevaya.
Sampada Kritava Lokaha.
Sampadha Krutvaha Lokaha.
Mahishi Bhratarah Mahi.
Mahishi Bhratarah Mahi.
Jambudvipa Adipatyam Cha.
Jambudvipa Adhipatyam Cha.
Yashah Cha Tridivam Gatam.
Yashah Cha Tridivam Gatam.
Sutah Uvacha.
Sutah Uvacha.
Apipalat Dharmarajah.
Apipalah Dharmarajah.
Pitruvat Ranjayan Prajaha.
Pitruvad Ranjayan Prajaha.
Nispruha Sarva Kamebhyah.
Nispruha Sarva Kamebhyah.
Krishna Pada Anusevaya.
Krishna Pada Anusevaya.
Sampada Kritava Lokaha.
Sampadha Krutvaha Lokaha.
Mahishi Bhratara Mahi.
Mahishi Bhratarah Mahi.
Jambudvipa Adipatyam Cha.
Jambudvipa Adhipatyam Cha.
Yashah Cha Tridivam Gatam.
Yashah Cha Tridivam Gatam.
Sutah Uvacha. Apipalat Dharmarajah. Pitruvat Ranjayan Prajaha. Nispruha Sarva Kamebhyah. Krishna Pada Anusevaya. Sampada Kritava Lokaha. Mahishi Bhratara Mahi. Jambudvipa Adipatyam Cha. Yashah Cha Tridivam Gatam. Please read, Prabhuji.
Sutah Uvacha. Apipalah Dharmarajah. Pitruvad Ranjayan Prajaha. Nispruha Sarva Kamebhyah. Krishna Pada Anusevaya. Sampadha Krutvaha Lokaha. Mahishi Bhrataraha Mahi. Jambudvipa Adhipatyam Cha. Yashah Cha Tridivam Gatam.
Ashish Prabhuji.
Sutta Uvacha. Apipalad Dharmas Rajaha. Pitruvad Ranjayan Prajaha. Nispruha Sarva Kamebhyah. Krishna Padanusevaya. Sampada Kritava Lokaha. Mahisi Bhrataro Mahi. Jambu Dvipi the Patyam Cha.
Adipatyam.
Avipatyam Cha. Yasyascha Tridivam Gatam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Sudha Goswami said, Emperor Yudhiṣṭhira administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. He had no personal ambition and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service unto the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna. News even reached the celestial planets about Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira's worldly possession, the sacrifices by which he could attain a better destination. his queen, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, his fame, etc. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As mentioned in our introduction, there is a need for science of Krishna in human society for all the suffering humanity of the world. And we simply request the leading personalities of all nations to take to the science of Krishna for their own good, for good of society, for the good of all the people of world. So it is confirmed herein by the example of Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, the personality of goodness. In India, the people hanker after Rāma-rājya because the personality of Godhead was the ideal king, and all other kings or emperors in India controlled the destiny of the world for the prosperity of every living being who took birth on the earth. Here in the word Praja is significant. The etymological import of the word is that which is born. On the earth, there are many species of life, from the aquatics up to the perfect human beings, and all are known as Prajas. Lord Brahma, the creator of his particular universe, is known as the Prajapati because he is the great grandfather of all who have taken birth. Thus, Praja is used in a broader sense than it is now used. The king represents all living beings, the aquatics, plants, trees, reptiles, birds, animals, and men. Every one of them is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavad Gita 14.4. And the king, being the representative of the Supreme Lord, is duty bound to give proper protection to every one of them. This is not the case with presidents and dictators of this demoralized system of administration, where the lower animals are given no protection, while the higher animals are given so-called protection. But this is a great science which can be learned only by one who knows the science of Krishna. By knowing the science of Krishna, one can become the most perfect man in the world. And unless one has knowledge in this science, all qualification and doctorate diplomas acquired by academic education are spoiled and useless. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira knew this science of Krishna very well, for it is stated here that by continuous cultivation of this science or by continuous devotional service to Lord Krishna, he acquired the qualification of administering the state. The father is sometimes seemingly cruel to the son, but that does not mean that the father has lost the qualification to be a father. A father is always a father because he always has the good for the son at heart. The father wants every one of his sons to become a better than a man than himself. Therefore, a king like Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, who was the personality of goodness, wanted everyone under his administration, especially human beings who have better developed consciousness, to become devotees of the Lord Krishna, so that everyone can become free from the trifles of material existence. His motto of administration was all good for the citizens, for as personified goodness, he knew perfectly well what is actually good for them. He conducted the administration on that principle and not on the Rakshasi demoniac principle of sense gratification. As an ideal king, he had no personal ambition and there was no place for sense gratification, because all his senses at all times were engaged in the loving service of the Supreme Lord, which includes the partial service to the living beings who form the parts and parcels of the complete whole. Those who are busy rendering service to the part and parcel, leaving aside the whole, only spoil time and energy, as one does when watering the leaves of a tree without watering the root. If water is poured on the root, the leaves are enlivened perfectly and automatically. But if water is poured on the leaves only, the whole energy is spoiled. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira therefore was constantly engaged in the service of the Lord, and the part and parcel of the Lord, the living beings, under his careful administration, were perfectly attended with all comfort in this life and all progress in the next. That is the way of perfect management of state administration. Only a rich and great man's name and fame are known all over the world. And the name and fame of Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira reached to the higher planets because of his good administration. Worldly possessions, glorious of wife Draupadi, the strength of his brothers Bhima and Arjun, and his solid sovereign power over the world, known as Jambudvip. Here the word Lokaha is significant. There are different lokas or higher planets scattered all over the sky, both material and spiritual. A person can reach them by dint of his work in the present life, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.25. No forceful entrance is allowed there. The tiny material scientists and engineers who have discovered vehicles to travel over a few thousand miles in outer space will not be allowed entrance. That is not the way to reach the better planet. One must qualify himself to enter into such happy planets by sacrifice and service. Those who are sinful in every step of life can expect only to be degraded into animal life, to suffer more and more the pangs of material existence. And this is also stated in Bhagavad Gita 16.19. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira's good sacrifices and qualifications were so lofty and various that even the residents of the higher celestial planets were already prepared to receive him as one of them. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhitam Tapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Sri Guroho Sri Yuttapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. We try to understand shloka number 4th and 5th of the chapter 12, canto 1st, birth of Emperor Parikshit Maharaj. Here in 2 shlokas describing about the Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj glorification, how they do their work, or they take care of their citizens of their Hastinapur or full Shvetadip. He is the Samrat of Shvetadip. Prabhuji will tell us in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad Pranam. So we are seeing that in response to the 3 questions, Hare Krishna, in response to the 3 questions by the sages led by Shaunak Muni, Sud Goswami is now responding. So he starts with the father, that is Emperor Yudhiṣṭhira, how he was very generous to everyone in his administration. And then he goes to the grandfather, that is Pandu, Maharaj Pandu, and says that Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was as generous as Pandu. And then gives a reason as well. The reason being, he had no personal ambition. And because he was continuously serving the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, he had become free from all sorts of sense gratification. And due to this, even he had gathered so many worldly possessions. He had done so many sacrifices by which he could attain a better destination. His queens, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, sovereignty over the planet Earth, his fame, all of this were increasing, and the news of all this reached even the celestial planets. So Prabhupada says, the shloka wherein we are understanding how Krishna consciousness is important. And from which word we understand it? From the statement wherein it is said that he is freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of continuous service unto the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna. And because Yudhishthira Maharaj was doing this, he had become a good administrator. So Prabhupada says, actually, it is showing the need for the science of Krishna in human society. Because the whole of humanity is currently suffering across the world. So, if the sufferings are to be relieved, what is important is that everyone needs to understand the science of Krishna. And everyone should take to the science of Krishna, which will help in achieving the good for self, for society, and all the people on the world. Many times we speak of having Ram-rājya. So by Krishna's mercy, we have now getting a big grand Ram temple in Ayodhya. And we are all talking about Ram-rājya. Because in the incarnation as Lord Rama, the personality of Godhead showed how an ideal king has to be. He ruled with such happiness that everyone was satisfied. And so everyone wants to be under Ram-rājya. And following his footsteps, all the kings and emperors in India, they controlled the destiny of the world. And what happened is they ensured the prosperity of every living being who took birth on the planet Earth. And that is why, because of this prosperity being witnessed by everyone, each one wants to be under Ram-rājya. Now this prosperity, if you see, Prabhupada uses the word every living being. He never says all the human beings. And that comes from the word prajaha, which is significant. Because prajaha means one which is born. So there are so many species of life, right from aquatics to human beings to flying birds. And all of them are prajaha because all of them are born. And your Lord Brahma, he is called as Prajapati. He is the creator of the universe. And since he has created everyone, he is the grandfather to all who have taken birth. So his name is Prajapati. So the word Praja has a very broader sense and does not include only the human beings being ruled over. So a king or a ruler is supposed to represent all living beings, whether it be aquatics, plants, trees, reptiles, birds, animals, humans, everyone. Because everyone is finally is part and parcel of Supreme Lord. The only difference being Lord Krishna is Vibhu and we, the living beings, are Anu. But everyone is Krishna's part. And this is something which Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita itself in 14th chapter, 4th verse. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtah sambhavanti ya tasam brahma mahat yonihi aham bij pratah pita. O son of Kunti, it should be understood that all species of life are made possible by birth in this material nature, and I am the seed giving father. So Krishna is the one because of whom everyone is here. And the king, being the representative of Krishna, is duty bound to give proper protection to every one of them. So, by knowing the science of Krishna, one can become a perfect person. And unless one has knowledge of Krishna, whatever qualifications, diplomas, doctorates, degrees we acquire by academic education are useless and spoiled. Because that does not make us be on the right path of going back to Godhead. It's only the cultivation of science of Krishna. It's only by continuous cultivation, continuous devotional service to Lord Krishna that we can become better, and such kings or rulers actually acquire the qualification of administering the state. Just we see so many parents or say a father is always thinking the good of the son. A father always wants the son to become a better man than himself. So similarly, a king, in this case Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, he is known as personality of goodness. He is Dharmaraj. So he wanted everyone under his administration, especially the human beings, because of their better developed consciousness, to become devotees of Krishna, so that everyone can become free from the trifles of material existence. And as an ideal king, he had no personal ambition at all. There was no place for any sense gratification because all the senses, all the time, were engaged in loving service of Lord Sri Krishna, which Rupaji says also includes partially service to the living beings because they are finally the parts and parcels of the complete whole, Krishna. But then we make a mistake wherein we say Manav Seva, Dharma Seva. Because those who are busy rendering service only to the parts and parcel, leaving aside the whole, they're spoiling time and energy. And the best way to understand this is the tree. If you water the leaves of the tree, it is of no use. But if you water the root, the leaves are perfectly enlivened and that too automatically. But watering on the leaves, the energy is spoiled. So similarly, since Krishna is the origin and we are all parts and parcels, what is important is rendering service to Krishna. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was knowing this. So he was constantly engaged in the service of Krishna. And thus, the living beings under his careful administration attended perfectly the comforts in this life as well as assurance of progress in the next. This is the ideal way or the perfect management of state administration which Yudhishthira Maharaj was demonstrating. And because of this, his name, his fame reached the higher planetary systems as well. Now, only a rich and great man's name and fame are known all over the world. And here, he had good administration, he had worldly possessions, he had glorious wife, Draupadi. He was accompanied by the strength of his brothers, Arjuna, Bhima. He had sovereign power over the world, that is Jambudvipa. So he had almost everything. Now, when we are talking about everything, the word loka, which comes in this shloka, is also important. As we'll be seeing subsequently in the second canto, first chapter, 25th and 26th shloka, there are different lokas.
26 and
20,
27.
yeah. And higher planetary systems which are scattered all over the sky. So both material and spiritual. So there are 14 planetary systems, 7 upper and 7 lower. And a person can reach the higher planetary system by the dint of his work in the present life. It's not that you can forcefully go there, no. Krishna gives the system. Yanti devavrataha devan pitru yanti pitruvrataha bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhyajino apimam. So Krishna says, those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. So what it means is, we must qualify ourselves to enter the happy planets by yajna and service. Those who are sinful in every step of life, they can only be degraded into animal life, so that they suffer more and more because of the material existence. And Krishna has confirmed this in Bhagavad Gita. Tan aham dvishatah kruran sansareshu naradhaman क्षिपामि अजस्त्र अशुभ अनु अन asuri ishva eva yonishu. So Krishna says, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Asureshu eva yonishu. So this is the blueprint for us. It is better to service God than anyone else. And Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira's good yajna, sacrifices, qualifications, they were so lofty and virtuous that even the residents of the highest planetary systems, the celestial planets, were already prepared to receive him as one of them. So these two shlokas make us understand the importance of being completely surrendered to Krishna and serving Krishna and following his instructions, of making ourselves a better person by knowing the science of Krishna. And for that, regular association with the devotees, reading of the scriptures, chanting, following of the four regulative principles is very, very important. Thank you very much.